Yo, what's up, guys? I just got done watching the Chicago Bulls beat the Dallas Mavericks. Definitely leave a quick like on today's video for last night's huge W. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're close to 20,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for all the love on the channel in the past few videos. Also, leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about last night's game and all of the topics and news I'm about to talk about in today's video. But nonetheless, I'm going to be breaking down last night's game, talking about some stats that came out, the whole Coby White injury and when he's expected to return to play, Vooch possibly being unhappy with the Bulls offense and his own play, and the Bulls are already scouting draft prospects. So let's just jump right into it because the Chicago Bulls are now 8-3 on this season. You know, last night was a big W against the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not going to lie, going into the game, I thought the Chicago Bulls should have won, so I'm happy they did. I'm happy that the Chicago Bulls are finally beating teams that they're expected to beat. And huge shout out to Vooch. You know, he finally played a very good game. He shot solid from the field. He still missed a few easy shots here and there. But nonetheless, in 32 minutes last night, he did put up 18 points, 4 assists, and 10 rebounds. That was more like the Vooch that I saw last season. Let me just say, Lonzo played amazing. He had 21, 6, and 6. That man is a sharp shooter now with 7 3-pointers. Demar did kind of struggle from the field, but he still had a very good game, 17, 6, and 7. LaVine played well. The bench played amazing. Huge shout out to Alex Caruso. I felt like he was all over the floor. He's just a defensive monster, and he also had 6 steals last night, tying a career high. He also does lead the NBA in steals per game, and he's doing that off the bench. That's incredible. He's not starting, averaging the most steals per game in the NBA while playing limited minutes. Alex Caruso is one of the most underrated signings of this past offseason. I saw he was on the JJ Reddit podcast. Huge shout out to that podcast. I always listen to it. I enjoy it a lot. He was talking about how the Lakers offered him a 2-year, $15 contract and just lowballed him. I couldn't believe that. I know Lakers fans are missing him badly. I'm so happy that he's with the Chicago Bulls now. Him and Zoe are such good defenders. It just makes me happy to see that the Bulls are back and they're actually playing good defense on every night. Huge shout out to the bench mob. Huge shout out to Ayo, bringing energy off the Bulls bench as well. This was just a complete game against the Dallas Mavericks. I'm really happy that the Bulls are 8-3 to start this season. They shot 50% from the field, about 50% from three-point range. They out-rebounded the Mavs. They had 26 assists. It was just a great all-around game. Definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about last night's game. And if you guys really look at it, the Chicago Bulls are doing all of this while Vooch has been struggling. Obviously, there's still some, I'd say, question marks around some certain things about this Bulls roster. And the Chicago Bulls are doing all of this without their 4th and 7th overall draft picks in Coby White and Patrick Williams. And speaking of Coby White, I have a huge injury update on Coby White. He was talking to the media just the other day. And Coby White says he's fully back from his shoulder surgery and he hopes to return during the Chicago Bulls upcoming road trip. So that's real soon. He could return any game coming up. That's great news. The Bulls are desperately missing his scoring punch off the bench, especially his 3-point shooting. I did see some stats how the Chicago Bulls are one of the best 3-point shooting teams, but they're shooting the lowest amount of threes in the NBA. I believe they're last in the NBA at three-pointers attempted per game. And like I just said, the other day, Coby White was talking to the media, and he said he plans to return to the Bulls rotation soon, real soon, he said. And then they asked him about the West Coast trip that starts Friday. That includes 4 games in LA, Portland, and Denver and such. He said maybe it's a possibility. And Chicago Bulls coach Billy Donovan talked about this whole topic, and he said he wouldn't put an exact date on Coby White's return, but he did say it's a possibility that Coby could return during the trip. He called Coby White's last season up and down, but said Coby White showed process throughout this season, and I agree. I really liked what I saw from Coby White to end last season. I also believe he'll be deadly off the bench with Alex Caruso. And I know a few Bulls fans want the Bulls to either keep Coby or trade him, especially with the Bulls adding all the guards they did for this offseason, drafting Ayo, adding Demar, adding Lonzo, adding Caruso. Especially with Ayo's play as of late, he's really played solid on the offensive and defensive end, especially for a rookie. I know some fans are questioning if he's going to take Ayo's minutes. You know, a Bulls insider did ask, like, who's going to lose minutes when Coby White returns, and I love this response from Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan said that the Bulls are likely to increase to a 10-man rotation. He's been mainly playing a 9-man rotation on most nights, which would obviously keep Ayo in the rotation. Donovan, of course, praised Ayo's play again. You know, that's great to hear. The Bulls are guard heavy, but they're all great defensive guards, except, of course, Coby. But Coby's obviously going to be a deadly scoring punch that the Bulls have missed off the Bulls bench. So that's great to hear that Coby is expected to play within this next upcoming week, I'd say, if he doesn't have any setbacks. Ayo's going to stay in the rotation, which I love to hear as well. So definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video about last night's game, Ayo's play as of late, and Coby White expected to return, I'd say this week or next week for this road trip. And the final topic in today's video is an interesting one. You know, I know there's been a lot of hate surrounding Vooch and his whole role and just him shooting and missing a lot of open shots. And this article came out the other day, and I'm going to be honest, I don't believe it at all. You know, this article states that Chicago Bulls Vooch is not totally happy with his role on the Chicago Bulls. And I'm going to be honest, I don't believe this at all. I know in my last video I talked about Vooch getting a lot of hate from Bulls fans and even some Bulls fans wanting to trade Vooch. Like I said, he did play a much better game last night versus the Mavs, and I understand Vooch might not be 100% happy with his play as of late, and I guess he is the only star that's only kind of sacrificing. You know, there's a bunch of rumors and drama, of course, but nonetheless, I don't believe this rumor at all. I believe Vooch is fine. I believe he's just in a slump. I don't believe he's unhappy with the Bulls' offense or his new role, because most of the time Vooch was in the post in his Orlando days and last season for the Bulls. I'd say nowadays he's more of that Joakim Noah role, you know, working at the offense at the top of the key. He's obviously a way better shooter than Joakim, but he is kind of playing that role in my eyes. So definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about Vooch's role and just him possibly not being happy with the offense. I just really don't believe in that. And the final topic in today's video is about the Chicago Bulls already scouting draft prospects. Huge shout out to Daniel Greenberg for putting this out. The Chicago Bulls will have at least one front office member at the Madison Square Garden for Kansas versus Michigan State and Duke versus Kentucky. I'm going to be honest, I'm just not into college basketball that much. I only know the few big names, but I think NBA fans and some Bulls fans tend to forget. But the Chicago Bulls do have 2 first-round draft picks in this upcoming draft, which is incredible, especially with all the trades the Bulls did make for this past year. So that's great to hear. You know, Arturas and them are going to be obviously aggressive on the trade market and for this upcoming draft. I still can't believe the whole tampering situation is still going on. I believe that's bullshit. But nonetheless, thank you guys for watching today's video. Definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about all the topics I talked about. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a good one.